I was now 19. My church does this thing called a mission. You basically go out and preach about Jesus and stuff for a period of 18 months. I'm a very religious person because even when the world failed me, at least I had hope in my boy Jesus. Without having that sense of hope, I probably would have offed myself years ago. I saw many missionaries come home basically as heroes, so it seemed like a better option than to stick around and get bullied in California. I was super wrong. When you get your mission call, they can send you almost anywhere in the world. I was assigned to serve in Canada, Montreal, so I had to learn French. Alors, je connais un peu le français, mais pas beaucoup de choses. Before stepping foot in the different country, missionaries are trained at the MTC to speak different languages for 6 weeks. You were cut off from the rest of the world, so no internet, and you dedicate all your time to studying the doctrine in the new language. About halfway being into trained, I was walking up the stairs to the cafeteria when... Ow, my feet. That's not normal. The pain got worse the more stairs I went up. I figured it was Achilles tendonitis, which is something I had in high school for a bit, but with sturdier shoes can be fixed. I got better shoes, but the pain kept increasing. The last thing I wanted to do was to go home before even getting to Canada. My Saiyan pride wouldn't allow it. I must persist no matter what. As stupid as it was in my mind, this was the last meaningful thing I could do in my painful existence. I dealt with the pain all the way to Montreal, however, feet pain would be the least of my worries. Who are you? I was confused why some random girl was giving me a hug, and apparently I totally offended her by not reciprocating it. I mean, it was kind of a spring attack. Apparently this was my trainer, and rather than just saying that to me, she got super angry that I didn't know who she was. This would be the start of a pretty terrible relationship. My trainer expected me to know everything right off the bat, but I had no idea what was going on half the time because she kept the planning to herself. She didn't have patience to do things as a team. We got into fights a lot. When you have to live with someone 24/7 and they don't treat you like a teammate, yeah, you're gonna fight a lot. Every fight we had would end with me in tears because I would be the one to give in and apologize because she always had to be right. Our fights got so bad that we had to meet with the mission president's wife. I thought she was going to give us advice on how to better get along, but when I went there, yeah, so what can we do to be better teammates? I was expecting her to give us some ways that we could bond together or some exercises we could do, explaining our feelings to each other, but instead... Look, sister has been here longer than you have, and she's a darling. Obviously, the fights are all your fault. Oh yeah, that's productive. Just blame one person in the companionship for every issue. I didn't hear anything after she said that. I just kind of broke down. Once again, my faith in adults just disappeared, and I just accepted, well, guess I'm just gonna suffer. I was willing to work with her, but she wouldn't communicate with me. She would keep all the plans to herself, so I was completely in the dark about what we were supposed to do day to day. I even tried drawing her some art to maybe create a connection, but she would always brush it off as childish. I wasn't her obedient servant that snuggled with her, so she hated me. As the months went on, my feet got worse. We were in a walking area, so we were walking around 5 miles a day. I would pass out during lessons and rides on the bus. She always made sure to make fun of that. As the pain increased, I started having concentration issues, headaches. I would have to distract myself during the day to get through. At the end of the day, I would sob in the bathroom, the only place where I could finally be alone from my frickin' companion. The lower half of my body was in agony. I'd never experienced such leg pain before. Having the physical pain was hard enough, but all I could think about was how my trainer hates me, the mission president's wife despises me, and I felt so trapped. I wanted to be a good missionary, but I didn't know how long I could last. I would always pretend as though everything was fine once I left the room, but I wasn't okay. One night, sister and I were walking back home. The pain was getting to me, and... my legs kind of gave out and I fell into the snow. I watched as she walked around the corner and disappeared. But she quickly came back. Are you trying to mock me or something? No, I don't want to hear your lame excuses. Don't you ever do that again. Missionaries are supposed to be side by side always. Do as you're told.
You are with companions for 6 weeks at a time, and me and sister were at the end of our transfer. Before leaving to the new area, we were going to visit one last house to teach a lesson. Okay, so how about you give a testimony at the end of the lesson in French?
Sure, that's fine. I can handle that. We got to the house, and right before we could even walk through the door.
Okay, so you're giving the whole lesson. Ready? What? That's not what we agreed on. I can't do this. My French isn't good enough. Sister Gurr, these people's souls are on the line and you are being so selfish. Well, I guess I'll just have to cancel the lesson.
And it's all because of you. What?
They deserve better than you.
She did always know how to make me cry.
Now sobbing, I tried calming myself down even though she was being so abusive. I guess I'll do it alone then. Yes, that's right.
I struggled through a lesson with my broken French. She didn't stop to help me once during the entire lesson, instead just smirked at me. Maybe this was revenge. She knew that this was the last lesson we would give as a companionship, and she wanted to go out with a bang.
I got assigned a new partner and was moved to a driving part of the mission. It was nice to not have to trek anymore, but my legs still gave me trouble. I was so scared to get a new companion worse than my last, but she was so kind. Instantly, me and sister got along super well. Like me, she was all about being an equal partner. We taught the most fun lessons, baptized new members, and sang to anime songs in the car, even though that's kind of against the rules.
Unfortunately, all good things have to end sometime.
One day, we were walking up 3 flights of stairs to get to a less active member's home. They weren't there, so we started walking back, and I can't. What? I can't walk down.
There at the top of the staircase, I could not walk down. We were able to get home, but my whole back, my legs, my feet were all in horrendous pain.
I had the feeling that if I could just make it back to California, that I would be able to get the treatment I needed to get better.
I called the mission president up that night. President, I'm sorry, but I need to go home and get help. My body hurts too much, and I can't do this anymore. I am sick and tired of hearing all your excuses. You do not have feet issues. You're making this all up in your head to get attention. I'm not making this up.
You were called to serve 18 months, and now you're choosing to disobey? You do realize you are going against the Lord's will. My whole life was dedicated to Jesus. Him saying that broke me beyond past my breaking point. To me, it said, even God doesn't want you.
Before the flight home, I stayed at the mission president's house. They came over to me, and I thought they were going to give me some words of encouragement to go home, get better, and come back. But instead, well, I hope you're happy with yourself. You know, it only gets worse when you go home. And he was right.